What's going on? Robert Crook here, and in this week's video I am answering Zach Parade's question. He wants to know, how can you overcome the fear of becoming a freelance remote worker? If you're new to my channel, please consider hitting subscribe if you're interested in awesome content related to digital nomadism, remote work, and freelancing. So this is a great question because in my Facebook community, Digital Nomads Forum, people have, what I've learned over the last few years, they definitely have some fear about getting into the world of either remote work or freelancing, especially if they're not in it yet. And so I think, there's all kinds of reasons why we're afraid. Is the money going to be as good? Is it going to be reliable? What are the consequences of making this shift, of quitting my awesome cushy job and having this gap on my resume, and all these kind of concerns. And so, you know what? Every one of you who's watching this video, you're a unique human being, just like I am. And so your fears are not going to be the same as somebody else's. But you can feel free to drop a comment with your specific fear if you want a specific way to address it. But here's a little exercise that we can, or a little question we can easily ask ourselves when we're afraid of something. When it comes to getting into remote work and being a freelancer, are you more afraid? Like, what's the consequence of you not doing it, of not trying? Okay, is that consequence mean you might stay in your crappy corporate desk job for the next 10, 20, 30 years and wake up when your body feels like shit because you're literally dying, because we all are, and it's almost in a way too late to change? How's that for consequence? Does that scare you? That scares the crap out of me. That's probably one of my biggest fears, is waking up one day and being like, wow, I wasted my life. I didn't take any risk. I didn't try anything new, try these challenges, basically do things that scared me. How's that? So where are you at now? How's sticking with that for months or years or weeks or days, whatever it is? How painful is that? Does that scare you? Then compare that to the reality of actually trying your hardest, like going full tilt into getting into remote work or freelancing. Does it mean you have to quit your job? Does it mean that you have to spend a few hours on the weekend and evenings and keep your job while you're trying to figure it out? What are you really actually potentially trading to get into it? Is that trade scarier than that slow burn pain that comes from sticking with something you're not really passionate about or meant to be doing? Only you can answer that, but what I can tell you is that all these kind of thoughts are what were going through my mind more than almost 4 years ago now, when I decided to quit my cushy, well-paid benefits corporate marketing job with not a plan on how I was going to earn money remotely or travel, but I did it. I quit, and it scared the shit out of me. Was it easy? Nope. Guess what? It really kind of sucked at the time. I was crapping my pants. I was like, this feels really edgy for me. For where I was at in life, that was scary to me. And things worked out with a lot of hard work, a lot of mistakes, a lot of stumbling, some time, some help, some support. And for a lot of other people, for pretty much every other person I've ever met while exploring the world who's gotten into this stuff, who's made the leap of faith and faced that fear and done something to make remote work and freelancing possible for themselves, I have not yet met anyone I can think of off the top of my head anyways who has regretted doing it. Okay, and likewise for people who regretted trying to do it even if they haven't made it. Okay, it's better to try and fail and learn from that stumbling, that failure, than to never try at all, in most cases, in my opinion. So how do you get over the fear? Decide if being stuck where you're at is worse than what you actually have to lose, what you actually will lose by taking a chance and doing it. Beyond that, drop a comment with your specific concern, fear, I'll definitely address it. Happy to. And if you're looking for that kind of support that I mentioned I had in my journey, well, that's why I created the Digital Nomads Forum. It's my Facebook group, as I mentioned. We've got 12,000 remote workers and digital nomads in there. And I've worked really hard to make it a massively supportive community where we actually help each other instead of just promoting garbage that everybody is selling. None of that, all help for each other. So, link to the Digital Nomads Forum will be in the video description. Drop your fears that you have about getting into remote work or concerns in the comments, and I'll leave you a response. And if you enjoyed this week's video, please give me a like. I'm Robert Crook, and thank you so much for tuning in today.